Okay, it is 6:30 p.m. and welcome to week 10, Contemporary Issues in Criminal Justice, J280, the final lecture for the quarter. And I told you that the lectures uh, would be completed by the 10th week. This is it. And that starting from the open house in week 1, we have gone through successfully 10 weeks. We got one more week to go. You should be aware of the fact that class is complete not this Friday, but a week from Friday. And I'll be sharing that with you shortly in the calendar. So let's get right into what we have up for today. Share my screen with you. Okay. And there's some information here. There is a new addition, critical skills video. If you can go to this link, it will provide you with critical skills, one of our transferable skills, and a video that helps you as some of you see my comments in your papers that you need to make sure that you demonstrate critical skills in your writing. So it's very, very, very important. Critical thinking is actually what I'm talking about. So you'll find that information there. So now let's get into what we have for this week. Week 10. I sent you the information regarding the ACAT test. I sent it to your personal emails last week. I believe it was last Tuesday, in fact, and you should have received that by now. You should complete that this week. It gives you a password, and it gives you some instructions. Now, this is not the same test that you'll be taking in week 11, but this is the ACAT that is a assessment of your understanding and performance in the criminal justice program. It's not graded, but you will receive 30 points for completing it, and then clicking to let me know that you completed it, and then I will give you your 30 points. At the same time, I receive from the college an indication of who has taken it. Sometimes students send me saying that they completed it and they really didn't complete it because it's not registered with the school. So the school gets the information and sends it to me, so I'll know that you took it. It's not about how well you did, do the best you can, but it's about the fact that we have report that you completed the test. And then your written assignment for this week, researching your personal job. You should be aware of the fact that this course is really more helping you to prepare, because as you begin to get ready to graduate and you take this course, you begin to develop skills that help you to land your dream job. So you're going to make sure that you do all of these things. Make sure you have citations and references as well, otherwise you'll lose 5 points. Explain the current job market for your position that you desire, and explain data collected from the BLS report as well. You'll see that in the assignment. And then just a reminder, week 11, your field report is due in, and you should follow all of the requirements of it. And then there's your rubric for discussion posts. And then again, reminding you that I will give you a keyword at the end so that you can receive your points for either attending the lecture or either reviewing the lecture in the archives by Sunday. You need to do that by the end of Sunday 11:59 p.m. to get all of the points, the 5 points there. So let's take a look at your announcements. I already kind of talked about it. Future of employment for justice studies. Read Module 10, which we're going to go over in a minute. And reminding you that this is the final lecture of the quarter and that your assessments are due. It says Friday the 16th, but you know, actually you can try to get it done by Sunday, but that your all assignments are due March 16th. Discussion assignment, your prediction. I've seen some good ones there, and I've responded to a couple. Written assignment research, your personal job. We just went over that. The ACAT test as well. Okay, and so make sure that you have finished strong in this course as well. But the field report is very, very, very important. Now let's take a look at the course calendar. And tells you what your written assignment, what your reading assignment is. Actually, it's more the module. And then your discussion post was due yesterday, 11:59 p.m. Central Standard Time. And your lectures today, your reply post is due Saturday. And then your written assignment that I gave you a few minutes ago, written assignment, and it tells you to check the Bureau of Labor Statistics website, and it's 1 to 2 pages, and then it tells you what you're going to do there with that. And that's it. Your ACAT should be completed by the 11th. Now, the overview for next week, you have your initial post due next Tuesday the 13th, and then everything else is due by the 16th. The quarter absolutely ends by midnight. If you haven't gotten everything completed, that will be it. I can't extend it. I will not extend it in situations where individuals have not completed their assignments, except with certain exceptions, but I won't discuss those. You should already know those from discussing them with your advisor and or me. So let's close this out and let's take a look at the module. First again, reminding you of what the assignment is. This is it. Bureau of Labor Statistics website. You go to that and locate the information that they ask for. 1 to 2 page paper. Make sure that you answer the questions and provide citations and references along with a cover page. Okay, your discussion post, and then the ACAT, which I've sent you the information already. And then the lecture for today. So we're going to conclude with looking at the objectives. And so at the end of this week, you should be able to discover professions within the field of School of Justice Studies. These are professions that you want to do, or a profession. Look at statistics from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then summarize your outlook. You're doing that in your discussion post. And then these are your assignments for the week, and we're going to talk about this in a minute. All right. Okay, so now basically this week you're dealing with before we deal with the ACAT, be aware of the fact that employment, that's the ultimate goal that you have, that you intend on um, obtaining and landing your dream job, being able to work in your profession. This gives you an opportunity in this class to be able to get a peek into the future, so that you'll be able to complete the project. The field project is a help with you to look at that dream job, and that you hopefully have learned some things that will enhance your ability to land that dream job. And so we hope that this course has helped you. Resume writing, helped you in terms of targeting what's out there. I will say this, and I've said this already in some of the discussion posts, that there is a future, a bright future in criminal justice, and a serious need for educated professionals who are sensitive or exercise empathy in dealing with diverse populations, and recognizing the fact that you're going to come into contact with people who are different from you are, and you need to be able to know how to respond to those individuals, how to help those individuals, how to respect those individuals, regardless of the circumstances and how they are. No matter how bad a situation is with an individual, whether they're a murderer, or rapist, or whatever they are, they still are entitled to your professional performances in terms of dealing with those individuals. You also want to be able to use technology, which is something that we, of course, encourage. You're using it right now because in order to see this, you had to use some technology. Well, technology is here. It's not going anywhere. It wasn't in existence when I started out, but it began to come into criminal justice and law enforcement in all of the areas, the professions within the job, law enforcement, lawyers, probation officers, parole officers, correction officers. Everybody is using technology, forensics, and medical examiners, and just to go down the entire list. So it's important. Then information fluency, being able to research. We stress that throughout the whole program, that research becomes your mode of life. Did you ever pay attention and notice that many hospitals have the term research included in their name? That is because that is constantly what is taking place, because as medical science changes, research evolves. Same thing in our profession as well. Things are changing on a daily basis. There are new laws. We as lawyers can do what we call continuing education courses to keep up with the date. Though I don't practice anymore, I still continue to see the changes and do research. I attend programs back at my alma mater, Northwestern University School of Law, so that I can keep up to date with trends that happen, particularly in constitutional law and in criminal law. But it is very important that you recognize the fact that you're going to constantly be updating your education throughout the time that you are working in your career. And you don't want to use techniques that existed when you started if you've been in the profession many years. And so you want to continue to be current in the methods and approaches that you take in your criminal justice. And you will learn that people who have been law enforcement officers have changed some of the techniques. And we know that there are changes that are needed because we have too many issues with law enforcement. And I'm not a defender of law enforcement when it's wrong. I am a supporter of law enforcement when law enforcement is right. And I am an encourager of following the ethical procedures that everyone should operate, as well as the professional responsibility of the organization or institution that you work for. So it is very, very, very important. It is important that we reach out to the community and develop a close relationship so that when things go wrong, for example, we had a shooting of a commander here in Chicago, and the community rallied around and supported, the family, expressed condolences, provide other kinds of support. But the fact of the matter is that there's nothing good about when anyone is killed, whether it's even a criminal, a life is taken. It is important that we begin to learn to operate to preserve life. When I was a police officer for years, I pulled my gun several times. Well, I worked in drug raid programs, so I had to pull my gun. But on individuals on the streets, I think I only had to pull it 2 or 3 times. The fact I never even had to fire it unless I was practicing. And the idea is not to fire your firearm, but to use your firearm to protect yourself and the lives of others, and to allow those individuals who are not law-abiding to encourage them, should I say, to follow the law. And so that's what I wanted to say about the employment and this week's assignments. I'm optimistic because I am a contributor to providing students who will hopefully change the paradigm of what we have now. So don't be discouraged because of the negative attitude that people have against your profession. I know well about negative attitudes in professions going way back. There were all kind of jokes about lawyers, and they still exist. But the fact of the matter is that we need law enforcement. We need good law enforcement. We need professional law enforcement. We need well-prepared law enforcement. So continue with your education, even if it's the end of your associates. Get your bachelor's. Move forward. Someday you want to probably move up the ranks. You don't always want to be a street cop for the rest of your life. And you want to be able to bring innovations into your institution or organization or organizations that you may take part in during the course of your career. And then following that, then you'll still want to contribute. For example, we have an advisory board for the School of Justice Studies at Rasmussen College, and we use professionals in law enforcement, corrections, probation, parole, and other areas that are out there, so that we can have people to be able to keep our students and also those of us who teach the program, the institution here that administers the program, to better prepare our students. We are constantly modifying courses. I'm excited about the fact that one of the courses that I've taught a number of times, and one of my favorite courses, is Introduction to Criminal Law, J280, 11-week course. Been pretty involved, lots and lots of work in there, but that's the way when you're dealing with law. However, though, starting in the spring, I will be one of the instructors who will be teaching the 5.5-week course, and I've already looked at it, and it looks great. I'm excited about some of the new things that they've done to contemporize the information and the assignments for students to bring it more closer to the way things are taking place right now. So we are doing that with all kinds of programs: community policing, domestic violence, and the whole gamut. And so we're preparing you so that when you do go out as a professional, that you'll be able to compete as well as participate and perform in leadership roles. And so that's what I wanted to say about this week's module, and the assignments that you have with your jobs. You know what you want to do, and I will say this before I complete by talking about the ACAT, is that you need to know and begin to focus on what area you want to work in. When it reaches a point that you are not happy with the job that you're doing, particularly if you're in law enforcement, it is time to retire. It is time to stop or move on to something else. It has to be something that you have a passion for, and not the idea of carrying a badge just to catch crooks and lock up people. No, because in a law enforcement role, you're going to be a counselor, you're going to be a psychologist, you're going to be a social worker, you're going to be working with people from all age groups, all nationalities. You're going to be able to deal with people who speak a language other than that which you understand. And you're going to have to be able to take these skills that we've provided for you, the transferable skills. One of the main ones that I haven't mentioned other than critical thinking is communication. And you're going to need to be able to communicate very well with people as you encounter them. So I wish you the best, and I know that if you have any concerns, I have helped students that want to go further. Some even decided to go on into law school, and I'm helping a few of them right now. As a matter of fact, if you need a letter of recommendation or reference, feel free to reach out to me even after graduation. Feel free to friend me on Facebook, Richard Wright JD, and I have many students that are former students that respond or see my posts, and I see their posts, and we keep in touch, and I receive messages again requesting references and things of that nature. I've also seen them successfully advance in areas in their profession. So now the ACAT, Area Concentration Achievement Test, and it explains to you how it works. You'll save it yourself. In addition, as I said, the Rasmussen College Institutional Research will receive copies of the assessment, and this helps us to develop our program. Then there's ways that you can look at it, and it tells you how to interpret your ACAT. I never see them. I never get them because they're not for me. They're more for the program leaders to make sure that we are providing courses in ways that will help you to enhance your ability to be able to perform as a professional once you leave this school. So that's it. And then the last thing I want to do is go just take a look at Module 11 and remind you of the assignments that you have here. Again, your field report is due, very important. Your discussion posts, wrapping up, and then you have an exam. It's a program assessment. It's 100 questions covering performance objectives of the course you've completed in this program. The score you receive is to evaluate your progress. Take your time and make every effort to complete this exam for a grade that will be reflected in your overall class score. I showed you that before. just to show you again in concluding, because it's been a long time. Let's go back to the program assessment, 100 points, or 16%. So you want to do well with that. All right. Now, if you notice, this in here does not include the 30, but you have the 30 points that you get for completing the assessment as well. I'm talking about the one that ACAT that I was talking about, okay? So any questions or any issues, feel free to reach out to me. You know how to reach me. I've given you that since day one. And again, I wish each of you the best, and hope to see you, some of you, in the Bachelor Completer program, those of you who are not in it now, to complete it. And don't be afraid to continue with your education. It's knowledge is power, and again, it helps produce a really good professional. So I'm going to say good night. Great quarter. Enjoy teaching this course. I will be teaching it again next quarter, along with Introduction to Corrections, 3 sections of that, and then I already told you about the new criminal law, Introduction to Criminal Law program that I am ecstatic about. I'm excited about it. I feel like I got a new toy, but I love what the developers, the course developers did in putting that course together. So I'm going to say good night to you and have a good evening.